The stars were cold that night. Deep in space, far from Earth, there was a small station called Nexus 9. It floated in the darkness like a forgotten piece of metal. Ships came and went. Nobody stayed long. Nobody cared about this place, but today, something different was happening. Captain Marcus Webb was a simple man. He was not a hero. He was not a soldier. He was just a cargo trader who moved boxes from one planet to another. His ship was old. His clothes were worn. His life was ordinary. Marcus had stopped at Nexus 9 for fuel. Nothing special. He had done this 100 times before. He was tired and hungry. All he wanted was to refuel his ship and leave. But the universe had other plans. While walking through the station's lower level, Marcus heard something strange. Loud voices were coming from a dark corridor. Angry voices. Laughing voices. Marcus stopped walking. He knew he should mind his own business. He knew he should go back to his ship, but something pulled him forward. Something he could not explain. He followed the sounds. The corridor was dirty and cold. Old pipes leaked water onto the floor. The lights flickered on and off. This was the part of the station nobody visited. The forgotten part at the end of the corridor. Marcus found a large metal door. The sign above it read, Disposal Bay 7. The voices were coming from inside. Marcus pressed his ear against the door. He heard aliens talking. Valorians. They were tall beings with blue skin and cold eyes. Everyone knew about Valorians. They were powerful. They were rich. They were also very cruel. Finally, getting rid of this garbage, one Valorian said, laughing. About time, another replied. Command says burn them all. Every single one. Good. They're completely worthless anyway. Failed experiment. Total waste of resources. Marcus felt his heart beat faster. Burn what? What were they talking about? He knew. He should walk away. This was not his problem. These were Valorians. Dangerous aliens who could kill him without thinking twice. But Marcus did not walk away. His hand moved to the door control. He pressed the button. The door slid open with a loud hiss. 3 Valorian officers turned to look at him. They wore dark military uniforms. Their faces showed surprise, then anger. What do you want, human? The tallest one demanded. Marcus looked around the room. His eyes moved from the aliens to the large metal containers behind them. There were dozens of containers, maybe hundreds, all lined up in rows, waiting to be loaded onto a conveyor belt. A conveyor belt that led directly into a massive incinerator. What's in those containers? Marcus asked. His voice was calm, but his hands were shaking. The Valorians laughed. It was an ugly sound. Why do you care, little human? This is military business, not your concern. I asked a question, Marcus said, stepping closer. What's inside? The tall Valorian smiled coldly. You really want to know? Fine. Look for yourself. But don't say I didn't warn you. He pressed a button on his wrist device. The nearest container's panel turned transparent. Marcus looked inside. His blood turned to ice. Inside the container were not objects. They were not machines. They were not cargo. They were living beings. Small creatures with grayish skin and large, sad eyes. They huddled together in fear, shaking and holding each other. Some were very young, almost like children. Others were older, but still fragile. They looked at Marcus through the transparent panel. Their eyes were filled with terror. With hopelessness? With the knowledge that death was coming, Marcus could not breathe. His chest felt tight. His hands formed fists at his sides. What? What are they? He whispered. The Valorian officer shrugged carelessly. Failed experiments. The science division created them for labor work. Mining, cleaning, simple tasks. But these ones are defective. Defective. Too weak, too slow. They don't follow orders properly. They ask questions instead of working. Completely useless. The officer kicked one of the containers. The creatures inside screamed in fear. Good for nothing but burning. Marcus felt something rise inside him. Not fear. Not confusion. Anger. Pure burning anger. "You're going to kill them?" he asked, slowly. "Kill. Human, you don't understand. They're not alive. Not really their property, company assets. We're just disposing of defective equipment. Nothing more." Marcus looked at the creatures again. They were staring at him with desperate eyes. One small creature pressed its tiny hand against the transparent panel, reaching toward him. Reaching for help in that moment. Marcus saw something the Valorians could never see. He saw fear. He saw pain. He saw hope. He saw life. "How many?" Marcus asked quietly. "What? How many are there? In all these containers?" The Valorian checked his datapad. 200. Maybe more. "Why are you asking these stupid questions?" Marcus looked at the incinerator. A countdown timer glowed red above it, 40-5 minutes remaining in 45 minutes. 200 innocent beings would burn to death, and nobody would care. Nobody would remember. They would be forgotten, like garbage thrown into the darkness of space, unless someone did something, unless someone chose to see them differently. Marcus turned to face the Valorians. His fear was gone now, replaced by something stronger, something unbreakable. "I want them," he said. The Valorians stared at him like he had lost his mind. "You want what?" "All of them. Every single container. I'll take them." Silence filled the room. Then the Valorians burst into laughter. They laughed so hard that tears formed in their cold eyes. "Human, are you insane? You want our garbage? Our worthless, defective mistakes?" "Yes," Marcus said firmly. "Name your price." The laughter slowly stopped. The tall Valorian studied Marcus with a strange expression. Confusion mixed with amusement. "Price? Human, we were going to destroy them anyway. If you're crazy enough to want them, take them. They're yours, free of charge." He stepped closer to Marcus, his cold breath touching the human's face. "But understand this. Once they leave this station, they're your problem. No refunds, no complaints, no help. Whatever happens to them is on you." Marcus did not hesitate. "Except," the Valorian smiled darkly, "then sign the transfer papers, foolish human, and pray you don't regret this decision." As Marcus signed his name on the digital document, the creatures in the containers watched him with wide eyes. They did not understand what was happening. They did not know who this strange human was, but for the first time in their short, painful lives, they felt something new. They felt hope. The loading bay was filled with noise. Metal containers clanked against each other. Machines hummed loudly. Valorian workers shouted orders back and forth. Marcus stood in the middle of it all, watching carefully. His ship, the Second Chance, was an old cargo vessel. It had seen better days. The paint was faded. The engines made strange sounds. But it was home. And today, it would become a rescue ship. One by one, the containers were loaded into the cargo hold. Each container held 10 to 15 creatures. Their small faces pressed against the transparent panels, watching everything with frightened eyes. Marcus counted silently. 50 containers, 60, 70. The Valorian workers were rough. They threw the containers without care. They laughed. When the creatures inside screamed, they treated them like trash being thrown into a garbage truck. Marcus wanted to say something. He wanted to yell at them to be careful. He stayed quiet. He could not risk the Valorians changing their minds. Not when he was so close. Finally, the last container was loaded. "All done, human," a Valorian worker said, wiping his hands on his uniform. 217 units. All yours. Have fun with your garbage." Marcus ignored the insult. He walked quickly toward his ship. The loading bay doors began to close behind him. Just a few more steps. Just a few more seconds. Then he would be free. They would all be free. But the universe was not finished testing him. "Stop!" The voice echoed through the loading bay like thunder. Marcus froze. His heart dropped into his stomach. He turned around slowly. A Valorian officer was running toward him. This one was different from the others. His uniform had more badges, more medals. His face was red with anger. His eyes were burning with fury. "Stop that, human. Close the bay doors. Nobody leaves." The workers looked confused, but followed orders. Heavy metal doors slammed shut with a terrifying boom. Marcus was trapped. The officer marched up to Marcus and grabbed his collar. His grip was strong enough to leave bruises. "What do you think you're doing, human?" he growled. Marcus tried to stay calm. "I made a legal purchase. The disposal officer gave me transfer papers. Everything is documented. That fool had no authority." The officer shouted, spit flying from his mouth. "Those creatures are military property, classified assets. They belong to the Valorian Defense Division." Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. Military property. Classified. These words meant trouble. Big trouble. "I didn't know," Marcus said carefully. The other officer said they were disposal items, waste materials. He signed the papers himself. Papers. Papers. The officer laughed bitterly. "Those papers are worthless. You're holding stolen military property." "Do you know what we do to thieves in Valorian space?" Marcus knew. Everyone knew. Valorian prisons were death sentences. Prisoners went in. They never came out. But something inside Marcus refused to give up. "If I'm a thief, then your disposal officer is a seller of stolen goods," Marcus said quietly. He wore a military uniform. He had station clearance. He signed official documents. "As far as galactic law goes, I made a legal transaction." The officer's face twisted. The ship moved through the darkness of space like a small fish swimming in an endless ocean. Stars passed by the windows. Distant planets glowed faintly. Everything seemed peaceful. But inside the ship, peace was nowhere to be found. Marcus had not slept in 20 hours. His eyes were red and tired. His body ached from exhaustion. But he refused to rest. Not yet. Not until he knew everyone was safe. The cargo hold had been transformed. Marcus had opened every single container. 217 creatures now moved freely through the space. Some sat quietly in corners. Others walked around slowly, touching the walls with curious fingers. A few of the youngest ones had fallen asleep in small groups, huddled together for warmth. They were free. But they did not know how to be free. Marcus watched them from the doorway. These beings had spent their entire lives in cages. They had been poked and tested by scientists. They had been yelled at by guards. They had been told every single day that they were worthless. Now they were on a stranger's ship, flying to an unknown destination. With no idea what would happen next, Marcus understood their fear. He felt it too. "Arya," he called softly, "run a complete health scan on all passengers." "Scanning now, Captain," the ship's computer replied. Her voice was calm and mechanical. "This will take approximately 4 minutes." Marcus nodded and walked among the creatures. They watched him with large, nervous eyes. Some moved away when he got close. Others stayed still, too scared to move at all. One creature caught Marcus's attention. It was larger than the others, maybe older. It had a scar running across its face, from forehead to chin. Someone had hurt this one badly. The scarred creature did not run from Marcus. Instead, it stood its ground. Its eyes were not filled with fear like the others. They were filled with something else, suspicion. "You don't trust me," Marcus said quietly. "That's okay. I wouldn't trust me either." The creature tilted its head slightly, did not understand the words, but it seemed to understand that Marcus was not threatening. "I'm going to earn your trust," Marcus continued. "I don't know how yet, but I will. I promise." The creature stared at him for a long moment. Then it did something unexpected. It gave a small nod. Just a tiny movement of its head. But it meant everything. "Captain?" Arya's voice interrupted the moment. Something in her tone made Marcus's blood run cold. "What is it, Arya?" "The health scan is complete." "We have a serious problem." Marcus hurried to the medical bay. The screens were filled with data, charts and graphs and numbers that made his head spin. "Show me," he demanded. "Captain, these beings have a unique biology. Their organs require a specific mineral compound to function properly. Without this compound, their internal systems begin to shut down." Marcus felt his stomach twist. "How long do they have?" "Based on my analysis, the youngest ones have approximately 6 to 8 hours. The older ones have maybe 12 hours. After that, complete organ failure. 6 hours. Marcus had rescued them from the incinerator only to watch them die slowly. "On his ship, do we have this compound on board?" Marcus asked desperately. "Negative, Captain. This compound is rare. It is primarily found in Valorian medical facilities and certain asteroid formations. Then we go back. We return to the station and demand, 'Captain, if we return to Valorian space, we will be arrested immediately. Commander Vex has already sent out a warrant for your capture. Returning means death. For you and for them.'" Marcus slammed his fist against the wall. Pain shot through his hand, but he did not care. "There has to be another way. Check everything on this ship. Every supply closet, every storage unit." "Captain, I have already checked again." Arya went silent for a moment. Then her voice returned, softer this time, scanning all ship contents. "Please wait." Marcus returned to the cargo hold. The creatures looked at him with hopeful eyes. They did not know they were dying. They did not know that the human who saved them might fail them after all. How could he tell them? How could he explain that freedom meant nothing if they were dead? A small creature approached Marcus. It was one of the youngest ones. Its skin was pale gray. Its eyes were huge and innocent. It looked up at Marcus and made a soft sound. Almost like a question. Marcus knelt down to its level. "Hey there, little one." The creature reached out and touched Marcus's face. Its tiny fingers were cold. Too cold. Marcus's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. Captain Arya announced, "I found something." Jumped to his feet. "What? What did you find?" "In Storage Bay 3, we have old mining equipment. The extraction filters in these tools contain trace amounts of the required compound." Hope exploded in Marcus's chest. "How much is it enough?" "Calculating, Captain. If we extract every molecule from every filter, we will have enough compound for approximately 15 creatures. For one dose only." 15. Out of 217, the hope died as quickly as it had appeared. "That's not enough," Marcus whispered. "That's not nearly enough." "I know, Captain. I'm sorry." Marcus stood in silence. The weight of the situation crushed down on him. He had risked everything to save these beings. He had faced down Valorian officers. He had escaped military custody, and now they were going to die anyway. The scarred creature appeared beside Marcus. It had been watching. It had seen the human's face change from hope to despair. It did not understand the words being spoken, but it understood pain. Slowly, it pointed at the smaller creatures, the young ones, the weakest ones. Then it pointed at itself and the other larger creatures. It shook its head firmly. Marcus understood immediately. You want me to save the young ones first. You're willing to sacrifice yourselves. The scarred creature nodded around. The cargo hold, other adult creatures began nodding too. They understood. They were choosing to die so that the children might live. Tears streamed down Marcus's face. These beings had been called worthless, defective, garbage. Yet here they were, showing more courage and love than most humans Marcus had ever known. No, Marcus said firmly. We save everyone, or we find another way. He wiped his tears and marched to the cockpit. Arya, show me the nearest asteroid field. Captain, asteroid mining is extremely dangerous without proper equipment. I don't care about danger. Show me the field. A map appeared on the screen. A dense asteroid cluster floated 3 hours away. The rocks were unstable. The radiation levels were high. Any sane pilot would avoid this place. Marcus set the course immediately. Captain, this is highly inadvisable. We don't have time for advisable Arya. We need a miracle. And if the universe won't give us one, we'll make our own. The ship changed direction. The engines pushed harder. Every second mattered now. Behind Marcus, the creatures watched through the cockpit doorway. They saw the human working frantically. They saw his determination, his refusal to give up. They did not know what he was doing, but they knew one thing for certain. This human was fighting for them, and that was something no one had ever done before. The asteroid field stretched across the darkness like a graveyard of broken worlds. Giant rocks floated silently. Some were small like houses. Others were massive like mountains. They tumbled slowly through space, crashing into each other without warning. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. Marcus stared at the field through his cockpit window. His hands gripped the controls tightly. Sweat dripped down his forehead. He had flown through difficult places before, but nothing like this. Arya, how much time do we have? The youngest creatures have approximately 4 hours remaining. The compound we need is located deep within the larger asteroids. Mining will take at least 90 minutes, 4 hours. 90 minutes of mining, plus travel time, plus extraction time. The math was brutal. Then we don't waste another second, Marcus said. Excellent. Guide me in. The ship moved forward into the field. Rocks passed by on all sides. Some came dangerously close. Marcus dodged left, then right, then up. His reflexes were pushed to their limits. Behind him, in the cargo hold, the creatures felt every movement. They held onto each other as the ship shook and turned. Fear filled their eyes. But something else filled them to trust. They trusted the human. They did not know why. They just did. Captain, I am detecting a suitable asteroid ahead. High concentration of the required compound. Distance, 2 kilometers. Take us there. The ship weaved through the chaos. Smaller rocks bounced off the hull. Warning lights flashed. Alarms beeped. But Marcus kept going. Finally, they reached the asteroid. It was dark gray and covered with deep cracks. Crystals sparkled faintly beneath the surface. The compound was there, waiting. Arya, prepare the mining pod. Captain, I must warn you. The mining pod is designed for simple extraction work. It is not equipped for this type of operation. The radiation levels here are extremely high. Your suit can only protect you for approximately 40 minutes. Then I'll work fast. Marcus suited up quickly. The spacesuit was old and patched in several places, not exactly confidence-inspiring. But it was all he had. As he walked toward the airlock, something blocked his path. The scarred creature stood before him. Its eyes were intense, serious. It pointed at Marcus, then at the airlock, then shook its head firmly. "You don't want me to go?" Marcus asked. The creature nodded. "I have to. There's no other way." The creature thought for a moment. Then it pointed at itself. It made a digging motion with its hands. It pointed at the airlock again. Marcus understood. "You want to?" Fear has a taste. It sits on the tongue like metal, cold and sharp. Marcus knew this taste well. He had tasted it when facing bullies as a child. He had tasted it when his first ship nearly crashed into a moon. But he had never tasted it this strongly before. 3 Valorian warships floated at the edge of the asteroid field. They were sleek and deadly, built for one purpose only: destruction. Their weapons were already glowing, ready to fire, ready to kill. "Arya, how long until they reach us?" "At current speed, 12 minutes. "Captain, 12 minutes. Not enough. Time to run, not enough time to hide. Definitely not enough time to fight." Marcus looked around his ship. Old engines, no weapons. Damaged hull from the asteroid mining. Against 3 military warships, they had 0 chance. But giving up was not an option. "Arya, open a communication channel. All frequencies. Channel open, Captain." A harsh voice immediately filled the cockpit. "Human vessel. This is Commander Vex of the Valorian Military Division. You are harboring stolen classified assets. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Marcus recognized the voice. The angry officer from the station. The one who had grabbed his collar. The one who wanted him dead. "Commander Vex," Marcus replied calmly. "I have legal transfer documents for everyone on this ship. Your own officer. Signed them. This is not theft." Laughter crackled through the speakers. Cruel, ugly laughter. "Legal documents. Human, do you think we care about papers?" Those creatures saw things they should not have seen. They know about classified military experiments. They cannot be allowed to live. Marcus felt sick. They're innocent. They didn't choose to see anything. Your people created them, used them, and now you want to murder them for knowing too much. Murder. You misunderstand. They are not people. They are property. Defective property. We are simply cleaning up a mess. The creatures in the cargo hold were listening. They could hear the words. They could understand the hatred. Some of the younger ones began crying softly. The adults held them close. The scarred creature stood near Marcus. Its eyes were fixed on the communication screen. Its fists were clenched tightly. "You will not touch them," Marcus said firmly. "Will not let you. You will not let us." Commander Vex laughed again. "Human, look at your pathetic ship. Look at my warships. You have nothing. No weapons, no shields, no allies. You are alone. In the darkness of space. And in 10 minutes, you will be dust." Marcus's mind raced. He needed a plan. Any plan. Something to buy time. Something to change the situation. Then an idea struck him. "Arya, can you broadcast on all open frequencies? Not just military channels. Everything. Trade networks, news stations, passing ships. Everything within range." "Yes, Captain. But what do you want to broadcast?" "Everything." Marcus took a deep breath. This was either the smartest thing he had ever done, or the stupidest. "Commander Vex, you say these beings are just property, just defective equipment. If that's true, Then why send 3 warships to destroy one unarmed cargo vessel? Silence from the Valorian ships, Marcus continued. Let me guess. Those classified experiments you mentioned, they're not supposed to exist. Creating intelligent beings for slave labor violates about 17 galactic laws. If the truth gets out, the Valorian government faces serious consequences. You know nothing? Human, maybe? Or maybe I know everything. Arya, begin broadcasting. Wideband, all frequencies. Maximum range. Broadcasting now, Captain. Marcus spoke clearly into the microphone. His voice traveled across space. Reaching ships, reaching stations, reaching anyone who would listen. This is Captain Marcus's Webb of the cargo vessel Second Chance. I am broadcasting to all ships and stations within range. The Valorian military is attempting to murder 217 innocent beings. These beings were created in illegal genetic experiments. They were made to be slaves. When they started thinking for themselves, the Valorians decided to kill them. Shut down that transmission, Commander Vex screamed. But Marcus kept talking. I rescued these beings from a disposal facility. I have legal documents proving my ownership. But the Valorian military doesn't care about law. They care about secrets. And they will kill anyone to protect those secrets. The creatures watched. Marcus with amazement. They did not understand every word, but they understood what he was doing. He was fighting for them, with the only weapon he had, his voice. If anyone can hear this message, please help. We are in asteroid field 7 in Delta. 3 warships are about to open fire. We have no weapons. We have no defenses. We have only the truth. Marcus paused. Then he added quietly, these beings are not worthless. They are not garbage. They are alive. They feel fear. They feel hope. They dream of freedom, and they deserve to live. The transmission ended. Silence filled the cockpit. Then Arya spoke. Captain, incoming communications from multiple sources. Trade vessels, independent stations, news networks. Your broadcast has been received by over 400 ships, Commander. Vex's face appeared on the screen. His blue skin had turned almost purple with rage. You think this changes anything, human? So what if the galaxy hears your pathetic story? By the time anyone arrives, you will be dead. Your precious creatures will be dead, and we will simply claim you attacked us first. Maybe, Marcus admitted, but the truth will still exist. Your secrets will still be exposed. Killing me won't make this go away. No, but it will feel very satisfying. The Valorian ships moved closer. Their weapons powered up fully. Bright energy gathered at their cannons. Marcus closed his eyes. He had done everything he could. He had fought with everything he had. If this was the end, at least he had tried. The scarred creature suddenly grabbed Marcus's hand. Marcus opened his eyes and looked at it. The creature pointed at itself, then at the other creatures, then at Marcus. Finally, it placed its hand over its heart. Family, Marcus understood. Whatever happened next, they were family. They would face it together. Captain Arya shouted. New contact. Massive ship entering the asteroid field. Marcus looked at the scanner. A huge vessel had appeared between his ship and the Valorian warships. It was enormous, 10 times larger than any warship, and it was broadcasting Earth Alliance markings. A powerful voice filled all frequencies. This is Admiral Catherine Stone of the Earth Defense Fleet. The human vessel's Second Chance and all passengers are now under Earth Alliance protection. Any attack will be considered an act of war against humanity. Marcus could not breathe, could not think, could not believe what was happening. They were saved. Silence hung in space like a heavy blanket. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Even the stars seemed to hold their breath. The Earth's Alliance battleship was massive. Its shadow covered the Valorian warships completely. Hundreds of weapon ports lined its hull, each one pointed directly at Commander Vex's fleet. This was not a rescue ship. This was a message. Humanity protects its own. Commander Vex's face appeared on screen again. His earlier confidence was gone, replaced by something Marcus had never expected to see on a Valorian: fear. Admiral Stone, Vex spoke carefully. This is an internal Valorian matter. Earth Alliance has no jurisdiction here. Admiral Stone's response was calm but deadly. Commander, the moment you threatened a human citizen, it became our matter. The moment you admitted to illegal genetic experiments, it became a galactic matter. Stand down your weapons. Those creatures are classified military assets. Those creatures, Admiral Stone interrupted, are now under Earth's protection. Any attempt to harm them will result in immediate military response. Is that clear enough for you? Vex's jaw tightened. His hands trembled with rage. But he was not stupid. 3 warships against an Earth battleship was suicide. This is not over, he growled. No, Admiral Stone agreed. Just beginning. Now leave. Before I change my mind about letting you go. The Valorian warships turned slowly. Their engines fired. Within minutes, they disappeared into the darkness. Gone. Marcus collapsed into his chair. Every muscle in his body relaxed at once. He felt like crying, laughing, screaming, all at the same time. Captain Webb. Admiral Stone's voice was softer now, almost gentle. Permission to come aboard. Marcus managed a weak smile. Permission granted, Admiral, and thank you. Thank you for everything. 30 minutes later, Admiral Stone stood in the cargo hold of the Second Chance. She was tall and strong, gray hair cut short, eyes sharp like knives. But when she looked at the creatures, something in those eyes softened. So these are the ones, she said quietly. The creatures watched her with nervous eyes. A new stranger. A new unknown. They pressed closer together for safety. They're scared, Marcus explained. They've been through so much. I understand. Admiral Stone knelt down slowly. She made herself small, non-threatening. Hello there. I'm Catherine. I'm a friend. A tiny creature peeked out from behind the others. It studied the Admiral's face carefully. Then, very slowly, it stepped forward. Admiral Stone smiled warmly. Brave little one, aren't you? The creature touched her hand. Just a gentle tap. Testing. Trusting. A tap and Webb, Admiral Stone said, standing up again. We need to talk. Privately, they moved to the medical bay. Aria sealed. The door behind them. Your broadcast caused quite a storm, Admiral Stone began. News networks across 12 systems picked it up. The Valorian government is in chaos. Protesters are filling their streets. Allied species are demanding investigations. Marcus nodded slowly. 6 months had passed since the rescue. 6 months since Marcus Webb made a choice that changed the galaxy forever. 6 months since 217 forgotten souls found hope in the darkness of space. Now, everything was different. The planet, Earth hung in the viewport like a blue marble, wrapped in white clouds. Beautiful, peaceful, waiting. Marcus stood at the controls of his ship. The Second Chance had been repaired, upgraded, made new again, just like its passengers. Captain Marcus. The voice came from behind him. Clear, confident, perfect English. Marcus turned around. The scarred creature stood there. But calling it a creature felt wrong now. It had a name. A real name. Valor. It had chosen the name itself. After learning what the word meant. courage in the face of danger, strength when everything seems lost. "We are approaching Earth orbit," Valor said. "The others are ready." Marcus smiled proudly. "And how do you feel?" Valor considered the question carefully. It had learned that humans valued honesty, that words mattered. Scared, it admitted, but also excited. "Is that strange?" "Not at all. That's exactly how I felt when I left Earth for the first time." Valor nodded slowly. Then it did something unexpected. It stepped forward and hugged Marcus tightly. "Thank you," Valor whispered, "for seeing us when nobody else would." Marcus hugged back. No words were needed. Some things went beyond language. The cargo hold was no longer a cargo hold. It had been transformed into a living space. Beds lined the walls. Drawings covered every surface. The creatures had discovered art during the journey. They loved creating images of stars and ships and their new human friend. Marcus walked among them. They greeted him with smiles and waves and words. So many words. They had learned English faster than anyone expected. Admiral Stone's report was correct. These beings were remarkable learners. Little Hope ran up to Marcus, the smallest creature he had saved, the one who had touched his face with cold fingers on that terrible night. Hope was not cold anymore. It was warm, healthy, alive. "Captain." "Marcus?" "Captain Marcus. Look what I made." Hope held up a drawing. It showed a simple image, a large ship surrounded by stars. It's a human figure standing at the center. And around the human, dozens of smaller figures with large eyes and gray skin. At the bottom, Hope had written 3 words in messy but readable letters. "Our family forever." Marcus felt his heart crack open with love. "It's beautiful, Hope. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen." Hope beamed with pride. Then it ran off to show the drawing to others. The ship entered Earth's atmosphere. Orange flames danced across the windows. The creatures pressed against the glass, watching in amazement. They had never seen a planet this close before. "Is it safe?" one of them asked nervously. "Perfectly safe," Marcus assured them. "I've done this 1,000 times." The flames faded. Blue sky appeared. Then green land. Then buildings. Then people. Thousands and thousands of people waiting for them. The ship landed at Earth Alliance headquarters. Through the windows, Marcus could see the massive crowd. News cameras, government officials, ordinary citizens holding welcome signs, signs that said things like, "Welcome to Earth. You are wanted here." Worthless. Never. The creatures stared in disbelief. All their lives. They had been told they were garbage, mistakes, things to be thrown away. Now an entire planet was welcoming them home. The cargo doors opened slowly. Sunlight flooded inside. Warm, golden, beautiful sunlight. Many creatures had never felt real sunlight before. They closed their eyes and lifted their faces toward the sky, feeling alive, feeling valued, feeling free. Admiral Stone waited at the bottom of the ramp. She wore her formal uniform, medals shining on her chest, but her smile was warm and genuine. "Welcome to Earth," she announced loudly. "Your new home." One by one, the creatures walked down the ramp. The crowd cheered for each one. Strangers waved and clapped and cried happy tears. Valor was the last to exit. It stood at the top of the ramp, looking down at the incredible scene. Then it looked back at Marcus. "You coming?" Valor asked. Marcus shook his head. "This is your moment. Go, meet your new world." Valor hesitated. "But... what about you? Where will you go?" Marcus smiled mysteriously. "Admiral Stone gave me a new mission. Apparently, my broadcast inspired some changes. The Galactic Council is investigating other illegal experiments, other disposals, other forgotten beings. Understanding dawned in Valor's eyes. You're going to save more like us. Someone has to. And apparently, I'm pretty good at finding value in garbage. Valor laughed. A real, full, joyful laugh. You are a strange human, Captain Marcus. The strangest. They embraced one final time. Then Valor walked down the ramp to join its family. Marcus watched from the doorway. He watched the creatures meet their new neighbors. He watched children from both species playing together within minutes. He watched news reporters interviewing Valor, who spoke eloquently about freedom and hope and second chances. He watched his family begin their new lives. Captain Arya spoke softly. I have received 847 distress signals from across the galaxy, beings scheduled for disposal. Beings deemed worthless, beings waiting for someone to see them. Marcus returned to the cockpit. He sat in his chair and looked at the long list of coordinates on his screen. 847 locations. 847 chances to make a difference. Arya, pick the most urgent one. Set a course, Capta. That location is in deep Valorian territory. It is extremely dangerous. Good thing we're not afraid of danger. The engines powered. Up, the ship lifted off the ground. Below, Valor looked up and saw the second chance. Rising into the sky, it raised one hand in farewell. Marcus raised his hand back. Then the ship shot forward, disappearing into the clouds. Flying toward the stars. Flying toward the next rescue. The next miracle. The next family waiting to be found. Because somewhere out there, someone was being called worthless. Someone was being thrown away. Someone was losing hope. And Aqua's web was coming for them. On Earth, little Hope sat in a garden surrounded by new friends. Human children asked endless questions. What was space like? What did stars look like up close? Was Captain Marcus really as brave as the story said? Hope smiled and answered every question patiently. Then a human child asked something different. Do you miss him? Captain Marcus. Hope looked up at the sky. Somewhere beyond the blue, beyond the clouds, beyond everything visible, a small ship was flying toward danger. Yes, Hope admitted. But he is doing important work. He is finding others like us, showing them they are not worthless. How does he do it? The child asked. Hope thought carefully. Then it smiled. He looks. When everyone else looks away, he looks, and he sees what nobody else can see. What's that? Hope touched its chest, right where its heart beat strong and steady. Value. He sees value in everything, in everyone. The human child nodded thoughtfully. Then it smiled. I want to be like Captain Marcus when I grow up.